All right, and the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about, and we won't throw out names here, okay? Because I don't want to publicize anybody. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, except for one person. But look, you've covered sports for a long time, pro, high school, college. All right, would you, as a media person, would you ever take a swipe at a kid for just a kid has lost some games, but it's not. It's a sports is a team sport. Could you find yourself doing that to a high schooler?
You don't cover high school sports the way you cover pro sports, right? So, like, we've all seen the graphics on ESPN that if a quarterback is 0-10 against this particular opponent over the course of 15 years in the NFL, you're going to see that graphic, and it matters in the storyline telling of a game, right? But you don't cover you don't cover college athletes like that. And you certainly don't cover high school athletes like that. Because one, the dynamics of youth sports is different just in general. These kids are not being paid. These kids are, in theory, playing for the fun of the game and maybe for an opportunity to play at the next level, right? You don't. And from a talent evaluation perspective, you wouldn't judge a quarterback at the high school level based on a win-loss record, at least not primarily. You're judging by arm strength. You're judging by the other factors like height and quickness and 40 time and all those things, right? So what a quarterback does in high school, how you're evaluating him for the next level, that's a different story. And I obviously know what you're talking about here, and whether I don't want to give him the publicity that he sorely wants, but I think it's embarrassing that we put that guy is still able to be on the sidelines, and I know that there's some districts that have made the decision to ban him from the sidelines, but I think what he did this week, and really go after a high school kid, is one of the most embarrassing and destructive things I've seen in Valley sports media since I've been doing this for 15 years. They used to say Clay was harsh on coaches, right? On the show. They used to say that, I think the three of us were harsh sometimes on coaches. Like, we tried to avoid the whole hot seat argument or discussion, but it was a discussion that ended up always happening, at least in a roundabout way. Like, got to be worried. This guy's got to be worried. It's 2 straight losing seasons or whatever. He's got to have a good year. But even then, we'd avoid those conversations. We wouldn't cover the firing until the firing happened, right? We'd talk about it amongst ourselves or whatever. But we would never be critical, especially for like. Let's take a for instance situation. I'm never going to criticize a Gabe Pena at Economides the same way you're going to judge a guy like David Gilpin at Mission Veterans, right? Because of we understand the dynamics that are happening at those programs, right? That go beyond just the athletes that are there. But there are some guys here that think that you're supposed to win just because of the school that you happen to be at and the athletes that allegedly go there, when those aren't all of the factors kind of at play. And when you make it a personal vendetta because of a familial, bickering or issue, or the fact, that you're upset that of the way that of the playing time of someone of that ilk got, it's just destructive, and it's just wrong to kind of go after a kid 16, 17, 18 years old, when you're a grown man. Like, what are you doing? You're literally making money off of these kids, or saying that you're making money off of these kids. Let's just put it at that. But that's my problem. That's my problem with it. I just think that there are people that are doing this for the wrong reasons. And when we were doing this, back in the day with the site, we made an effort to get. This was before YouTube was a thing, and YouTube was a thing, but before the recruiting aspect was easier for kids to do. We would help them with their videos so that they could send them to college, and our streams helped a lot of those kids get noticed. And we didn't do it to to get rich. We were hoping to have a business plan, but we did it for kind of the good of the community and for the quality of life situation. And there's some people out there that are just trying to make a buck on some people's names. It's the same. It's the argument right with college athletes. But I went on a tangent there. I know I didn't answer.
No. I wanted an outside opinion because, by the way, you're not the only one. Matt Stepp wrote some stuff on his Twitter in regards to this. There were other people. Look, the kid.